Hello and welcome to Pokemon part 40 something. 44. Yeah, that's the part. And in this part I'll be giving you Moor as we enter the Moor of Icarus. Not really a place you have to enter, but again I thought I'll show it off because you can find a few useful items here. And I guess it's implied that you're supposed to go here at least before the Dragon Spiral Tower or possibly the gym battle because well, you can do a bit of grinding. Now here we have Sludge Bomb, a very powerful poison type move, a special of course, and I'm sure it's a move which will now make fairy types quake in their boots. Whee! Just sliding around on the ice here. Again, reminding me of the ice gym in the 4th generation. And I'm probably overthinking this. But anyway, Route 8, this is the route we're supposed to go on before leaving this area. But yeah, I suppose it's worth a good look round. Okay, TM for Cade. I think we've already seen this move in the playthrough. It's essentially a move which does double damage if you have a negative status on you. And there's so many battles I'm cutting out here, and that's probably because, yeah, at this point in the game it's fairly late, so we've probably seen a lot of these Pokemon all before. An Icy Rock, which will extend the move of Hail. It will extend the amount of turns the move Hail will last. Which is an Ice condition which will damage all Pokemon except Ice types. I'm not really sure if it's good to have if you can make a really good Hail team in competitive play. I mean, the biggest thing which does occur to me is that they will all have to be Ice types. Which, yeah, it's not going to be a good team if it's all Ice types. And again, I'm probably overthinking this. All I need to do is just do a bit of surfing, and then jump off the lake at the right time. But if you think this is bad, you ought to see the trouble I'm about to have coming up when we actually enter the Moor. Thanks for the berry. And again, can you actually plant berries in this generation? I want to say you can, but I haven't seen it. Maybe it's just a post-game thing. But anyway, if you haven't been here before, this will be the Moor you don't know. And if it has, this will be the Moor you know. I'm terrible. But anyway, the Moor, again, it's one of those areas which appear differently depending on the season. And I think there are a few items here you can't get if it's winter. And I think it's just because the way the ice is laid out. There are essentially areas which you can't just slide over to. You'll see what I mean in a bit. I must say, going to a Moor during winter seems like a really grim place. It'll be cold, it'll be dark, it'll be just filled full of frosty mud. Doesn't sound like an appealing place at all. Now, when it comes to the new Pokemon in Gen 6, the starters, we have another frog Pokemon called Froakie, which seems to be a water type, but I'm actually guessing it will be an ice type. And I'm basing that on the fact that you can actually get some water Pokemon. You can actually get some frogs which will hibernate in the ice. You know, I would like to see a water ice as a starter. It'll make a change from all the water type Pokemon we've had. You know, let's have some interesting type combinations. Let's have a Fire Psychic as a starter. Then again, I think Game Freak will probably do that because if Fennekin is a firefighting type again, they'll probably get lynched. People do not want it for actually a 4th time in a row. And again, you can see this sort of item between the trees here, and it's taunting me. It's like, hey, you want me? Well, you can't get me, sunshine. And I'm thinking maybe if I slide around in the right areas, I can reach it. But yeah, it's just an item you can't get during the winter. Oh, this wasn't a good idea. Even if you are overpowered as Jack Black, this isn't a battle you can't win. That, and I'm very aware Basculin knows the move Aqua Jet. Or Aqua Tail in this case. Aqua Tail. If you don't know, it's a physical water type move, and of course there aren't many of those. But it's yeah, it's really powerful. Oh, Web's awesome. Oh no, here's where I want to show off the battle. We have this Pokemon here called Stunfish, and he's very much the Dunsparce of this generation. He's got low stats and he's fairly weak. Although what is interesting is that he's a ground electric type, which I do appreciate. It's a new combination. It's a shame it's sort of wasted on this sort of little useless Pokemon. Again, some Pokemon do need evolutionary forms so they can become like really useful. Stunfish here. I guess he's called. He just seemed to have this little derpy smile on his face for a second there. But again, I guess he's called Stunfish because he's like a fish that stuns you, obviously. Which explains why he's part electric type. At least he knows Indoor. And unfortunately, being a ground electric type, he has all the weaknesses of a ground type and the weaknesses of an electric type. So it's one of those combinations which just adds more weaknesses. Oh, yeah, that's it. Go away, Stunfish. Well, I have to admit, for a fairly weak Pokemon, he did hold out fairly well. But again, I guess this Moor could be worse, because I really didn't like the Moor we got in Gen 4. Then again, Gen 4 had this bright idea of having like these muddy routes, where you get stuck every 2 steps. Yeah, I'm glad they got rid of that in this gen. Ugh, I hated that Moor. And of course, if you haven't noticed, the way sliding works is that if you're going in one direction, you will continue going on that one direction. And as if I can't make you hate this part anymore, I've mentioned the band One Direction. But yeah, I think at this point I just get the idea that I should just move on with the Moor. Can't take any more of this Moor. I was just thinking that berries, in the previous generation, you could use them to make puffins, which is like some sort of Pokemon snack. And I think that was the only way you could raise a Pokemon's beauty level. Speaking of which, I guess they don't have those contests, so the beauty level or whatever isn't really applicable anymore. Which I guess is a good thing. I wasn't really bothered about it. I could never really understand what was happening during those contests anyway. It just seemed to be sort of random. But anyway, with that done, I'm finally done with the Moor. So no more of Moor, and that will be the last Moor pun you will have to endure from me. So anyway, join me again in the next part where I should be heading on to Relic Castle. Anyway, that will make a nice change from all this ice.